What's going on, friends? It's Sammy over at Infinity Aura Avenue, and this is the first video of my energy work series. I am a little bit more active on TikTok, so I had posted a video over there about cord cutting, and somebody in the comments said to me, well, I have gone to somebody to do energy work for me who did a cord cutting, and this and this and this happened. And I said, don't do that. Do it yourself. And this is coming from somebody who you could pay to do the energy work for you, but I want you to know how to do it yourself. So, in this series, we are going to get into a lot of things. We're going to do the basics of tarot. We're going to talk about astrology a little bit, but instead of me reading the astrology to you, I'm going to talk to you about astrology and how it works and what I use it for. I'm going to talk to you about other kinds of energy work, like these candles that I have behind me that I sell on my website on infinityauraavenue.com. They're all used for different things. I do have some candles here that we're going to talk about because today we are going to start our energy work with Energy Cleansing 101. So when I decided to start the energy work series, I knew that I wanted to do a little bit of everything. I knew I wanted to do tarot basics, astrology basics, divination basics, candle work basics. I just didn't know where to start, how to start, and how to keep the series organized, which is why I decided to go with YouTube. I just thought it was the cleanest platform for somebody who would find me in the future and wanted to start the series in order. And the best way to start, if I was going to start in order, would be with cleansing your energy, because just about every ritual, energy work, whatever you want to call it, I always want to start with cleansing my own energy before I get into the deeper parts of the energy work. And you might say to me, why would I do that? Why would I cleanse my energy? Sometimes you need to hit the energetic reset button, and it's not even about negative energy. Maybe you went to the supermarket and there was just too many people in there. Maybe you went to your friend's house and they had something that they really needed to get off their chest and talk to you about, and you've absorbed that energy. Maybe at your job, there's a lot of people who complain and they're complaining to you, because that happens to energy workers a lot, right? People will come to us and they have a lot of stuff to say and they just will trauma dump on you, and you're like, and then you're drained. Maybe you just had a lot of people at your house and now the energy is lingering. And not only do you need to cleanse yourself, but you need to cleanse the energy of your home. Or maybe you had a disagreement with somebody and the energy is just lingering and you need it off you. There's 1,000 reasons why you would need to cleanse your energy or the energy of your home. People and objects, all things carry energy. If we want to get to like a deep quantum physics level of like why this works, we're all made of these tiny little atoms, right? Everything carries some kind of energy. If somebody left a shirt in your house and they wore that shirt all day, that's lingering energy on that object, and it happens with all kinds of objects. Also, over time, energy builds up in a space if you're not cleansing it. Energy leaves a lingering vibration, and if you are sensitive to it, you need to be regularly cleansing. So the first thing I want to talk about is timing. When do you cleanse your energy? You can pick a certain time of the month, a certain time of the year. Sometimes you just feel it. You're drained and it needs to go. It's really personal, but you can also schedule it like clockwork if you want to. A really great time to do it is New Year's, right? Um, that's why we have self-care Sundays. You're resetting on a Sunday, even though it's a skincare thing usually, right? It's an energetic reset. Maybe you've moved into a new apartment, a new house, a new space, a new office, and the energy from whoever was there before needs to go before you bring your own energy in there. When I started coming into Infinity Aura, before I brought anything in here, I did a huge energy reset. I don't know who was in here before, what they were doing, what was going on. This is an office space that I've never been to before. I had no idea what the energy was like. I've reset the energy in here before I brought anything in here. Now, there are tons of options when you're doing an energy cleanse. There's the burning of herbs, there's the burning of candles, there's liquids. You could take a bath, you could do a bath with herbs, you could do a bath with herbs and candles. There's herbs that you can turn into sprays. And there's rituals like the eggs. I won't get too deep into like the egg cleansing ritual just because like that's more of a reading. We could do another video on that. I will touch the basics on it, but as far as like how to read that after, we'll do that another time. So probably the most popular and the most well-known form of energy cleansing is smudging, and that includes sages. I have a bunch of them right here. I'm going to show you the difference between a few of them. These are pretty much the same. I'll show them to you here too. They're pretty much the same. They're just different sizes. I just wanted to show you this one because I have it lit already, so I will light it for you. This is the size that I sell in the store because this is a better size for at home. I have a pretty large space here at Infinity Aura Avenue, so I will do the bigger stick because I like it to be lit longer. But I could use this here. This is not by any means a small, little, tiny sage stick. Sometimes you will see sage wrapped with other herbs. We'll go over why in a second. And sometimes you'll see smudge sticks with no sage that look completely different, and we'll go over these too. Look at how pretty this is. Let's just start there. That's gorgeous. You can also get herbs loose. I'll show you this on this camera. It's a little bit better to see just because I keep it in this little boat. It's a wooden boat, but they're in there. And if I turn it this way, it's just all going to spill out. But I like to keep little pieces of sage in here because sometimes I just want a little doop, little something. I will consider selling loose sage on the website. It's not on there yet, but that just is a thought because sometimes you just need a little quick something to go. Now, what is the process with a smudge stick? I usually keep a long lighter just because I use prayer candles. We'll talk about these too. And they're long, so like it's better to, once it gets down here to relight them. So often, 9 times out of 10, I've got one of these really big guys here. A smudge stick you can use on yourself or for an area. What you want to do is you light the tip. Sometimes it will catch flame. Sometimes it will just ember. I think that's the right word. And a strong smoke will come off of it. If you're doing yourself, you want to start from the bottom up, front, back, just get it all. The idea is that you're pushing the energy out. If you are indoors and you're cleansing a space, you want to open the windows because the energy needs somewhere to go. You have to remember that energy doesn't die. It just either transmutes into something else or goes somewhere else. Now, why would I use sage over one of these other options? Sage, as just a bundle by itself, will completely remove energy. Good, bad, whatever. It's going to cleanse it out to a bare, brand new energy. And that's what I used when I first came here. I saged the whole place. I mean, I will sage from time to time the whole place, especially if I have clients in here and it's a heavy energy. But this is a reset. This is a real reset button. Now, the scent of sage is very recognizable. It's very thick. It's very heavy. Most people will know it right away. So this is not like if you're in the broom closet, this is not the energy cleanser for you because you will light it and somebody will know right away. And a lot of the times people don't want other people to know what they're doing. For many years, nobody knew that I was doing this stuff. It wasn't until about 2018 that I really started to talk about it on the internet. Maybe some of my friends knew what I was into, but it wasn't something that I really shared with a lot of people. So when there's people out there who still don't want people to know these things, that's fine. I understand. I side with that. Whatever your practice is for you. It's not for anybody else. If you want to share it with other people who understand it, that's fine. If you want to share it with other people who don't understand it, that's also fine. If you don't want anybody to know what you're doing, that is also fine. But sage is not the product. Sage is not the option For you, if it's something that you really just don't want people to know what's going on and you have somebody coming in at any time. It's not for a public place, so it's a little bit hard to use in an office setting if it's not at home. And I just want to express that just because you don't want to tell anybody, secretive does not mean wrong. It's your practice, you don't have to share it with anyone. Now, other herbs will carry other kinds of energy. On this bundle, I've got lavender wrapped up in here. These are available on the website as well. Why would I use sage wrapped with lavender? Like I said, other herbs will carry other energies. So a lavender will bring in like a calming energy. That's why you see lavender in a lot of anti-anxiety things. So a smudge stick like this will clear the energy with the sage and then bring in also a calming effect. Why would I use a smudge stick like this? First of all, it's gorgeous. I'll show you again. I know I showed you before, but I'll show you again. Like I said, some herbs carry different properties, right? I've got pine in here. Um, there's a few different kinds of flowers. I'm not going to go into too much of what's in here. It is on the website. And then there's also cinnamon stick in here, which will bring luck. So something like this is a manifestation wand. So this is something that you would use. You can use this as a cleansing, but you want to specifically like, this is an intention wand, I guess I would call it. You're calling in something while you're cleansing. So you're cleansing the energy while setting the intention to do some other kind of energy work while you're bringing it in. This is not like a, I need to cleanse myself in my space kind of smudge stick. This is more like I'm going to do some more energy work and I need to cleanse the space first, but I want to set the intention that I'm also calling something in. And I know somebody's going to ask, why do you have lavender in here and do you burn that? No, it's hard to burn like that. The little pieces of sage I just keep just because they're easily accessible. I could burn a small one really quick if I just want to do a little quick something, and I just think it looks nice with the lavender in there. So that's why I do that. Another option as far as burning, Palo Santo. Palo Santo burns very similar. Obviously, it is very different looking and the structure is different, but it's the same idea. You'll burn the tip. It'll catch a little bit. This is a lighter smoke, and this will remove only negative energy. So this will leave the positive, lighter energy. So it's not going to strip the room of all the energy. Palo Santo will lift the energy of the space, but this is not for deep, emotional, heavy energy. So, like I said, if you say your friend came over and they're going through a breakup and they really need to get it off their chest, and then they leave, and you're like, whew, that's heavy. Not Palo Santo. You want to do some sage, like you need something a little bit stronger. Palo Santo, I'll do Palo Santo when I have been out of the studio for a day or two and I just need a little bit of a boost. Sage has a very smoky, thick scent, and Palo Santo is a little bit lighter, a little bit sweeter. And that's the kind of energy that they bring, right? Sage is very heavy, thick. It will move everything out. And Palo Santo will just kind of sweeten things up for you. Another option that is similar to Palo Santo is sweetgrass. It usually comes braided, and the same idea. You will light the tip of it and let it smoke. It is a sweeter, almost like a sugary scent. I love sweetgrass. I don't have it in here yet. I will get it and we'll put it in the shop at infinityauraavenue.com. But right now it's not in there. I do have Palo Santo in there. And then it just attracts sweet energy. Sweetgrass is also a positive energy magnet. So whereas Palo Santo will lift positive energy, sweetgrass will bring positive energy in. Now, we talked about liquids and using liquids for cleansing. You can set out bowls of water to collect negative energy. You can take a bath. You could put some oils in there. You could put some herbs in there that are related to whatever kind of energy you're trying to attract, reset. This is why if you are a beach goer, you go to the beach and you feel like you've been refreshed because you're at a body of water, usually salt water. Salt is also very cleansing. We use a lot of salt in energy work, regular salt, black salt, right? So when you're going to the beach and you're in that salt water, it is a kind of energy reset. And nature, just being out in nature in general, like going for a walk in the woods, dealing with touching grass, you know how on the internet, go outside and touch grass, like that's a big thing? It's real, and let me tell you why. When is the last time that you have had physical contact from yourself directly to the earth, right? We go outside with our shoes on and we don't touch the grass. You're never really connecting with the earth in that way. So go outside sometimes, if the weather allows, put your feet in the grass, literally touch grass. But to go back to the liquids, one of my other favorites is Florida water. You can take a little bit out, dash it on you. You can mix it with water and make like a um, floor wash. There's a lot of options as far as Florida water. It has a very fresh scent. That's also an option. Sometimes I'll just dab it on me real quick if I just need to do a little something. You can also do a spray. So for situations like an office space, when you're going to work and you say you have a shared office space, it's really hard to burn things, obviously. You can make a spray. I am going to carry them in the shop eventually, but you can, there's sage sprays, there's lavender sprays, there's all kinds of these energy cleansing sprays that you can just spritz. Funny story, when I used to work European Wax Center. We'd have a lot of people in and out of there all the time. And obviously, I can't burn things in there. You can ask the girls that I used to work with. I used to bring a spray and I would spray the rooms a lot of the time. Sometimes I would spray the girls that I worked with, not the clients. I'd be like, girl, you need to. You just want to make sure that these are legit sprays. You don't want to buy something that's just a fragrance. You can make them with orange blossom water, distilled water, or rose water. You want to do 90% water, 10% oil. Mix it up, put it in a spray bottle. I am going to have them eventually for sale. I used to make them. I used to make a lot of this stuff, and I'm just kind of like getting the rollout back. We can do another video as far as like maybe my background, how I got here, and like my reemergence as far as this kind of content. Let me know if that's something that you guys want to talk about eventually. I'll probably do it anyway, but if you want to engage in the comments, that would be nice. You can use incense. Um, for me, incense is more of like a mood setter, not really an energy cleanser, if that makes sense. Like I'll do incense after I've already dealt with the energy just to kind of set the vibe. This one's my favorite. All preference. The reason that I don't think that incense is really like a cleanser is because a lot of the times it's not made with its fragrance. So like you'll get it, like I said, you don't want to use a spray that's just fragrance. You need the vibration of the actual herb or the actual oil. Eventually, I will make my own incense with the oils. That's going to come, that's no time soon. So as far as going out and buying these kinds of things, I wouldn't rely strictly on some kind of incense for a cleanse. Like I said, I would use it more of like a vibe setter. I would do, this would be my process, especially if I'm resetting the energy, right? Like I need a hard reset. I would do sage first. I just want to put that down. I would do sage first, right? We're getting rid of everything. And then I would do some kind of Palo Santo, sweetgrass. If I'm doing more energy work, I would use a wand like this to kind of bring something in. You can skip the sage if you're doing something like this because it is a combination. If you're using something like this, you can skip the second sec because it is a combination. If you are doing a Palo Santo, you can do it without the sage if the vibes are clear. If you need to really clear heavy emotional energy, go with the sage first. Go with something a little bit heavier that's going to really get everything out. And then you go in with something sweeter to lift the vibes, to lift the energy, or to attract some kind of energy. And then if you want, you light an incense to set the mood. When I'm doing an energy cleanse, I will do some kind of prayer, mantra, intention setting. It doesn't need to be the same every time. It doesn't need to be intricate. You can use something from one of, if you like the Holy Scripts, whatever you want. You can use a poem if you like poetry. You can literally light the sage and be like, I need this negative energy out. Whatever works for you as far as setting the intention and the mantra, do it your way. The tools are not so much do it your way. They do have their own vibe and intention, so you do kind of want to know what you're working with. But as far as like the verbal or the setting of the intention, that's kind of personal. So I don't want to come here and be like, you need to say this when you light it. You don't. You don't. You do you, baby. And real quick before I get into the candles, I want to talk about the egg cleanse. The egg cleanse is you would take the egg, you rub it on yourself. The idea is that the egg is collecting this negative energy, right? The reason that I won't talk about it too much on this video is because it does require you to crack the egg into a cup of water, and then it's almost like a reading. You would look at the way that the egg is cracked in the water, and you would read the energy of the egg to see what's going on, what kind of energy you've just collected. I'm not going to get too deep into that. You can look it up on the internet if that's something that you're interested in. There's all this information out there. I will say you do not ever want to look at at the egg from the top of the glass and look down, because the idea is that once you crack it open, the energy is going to come out. I would say you would have to do some kind of sage after. You can not spray, sprinkle like a black salt or paprika to dilute the energy, but I would still, after, like I said, the energy has to go somewhere. So once you've collected it, cracked it open, you want to make sure that the energy is not on you, whether you do another sage or whatever. But that's more of, like I said, like a reading of the energy than really, like, it does include a cleanse, but it's also like, exactly what am I cleansing? And sometimes I don't need to know or sometimes I already know. So sometimes it's just like, I just need a gun. I don't need the intricate reading of the situation. So the candles that I have here are fixed candles. I fix them myself. I do hand pour them. They are soy, so they're not toxic. You can light them around children and animals. There are a little bit of herbs, very light oil. They're not really scented. The oil that's in there is strictly for the work that we're doing. And these are not energy cleansing candles, but the reason that I brought them is because they are protection based, right? So you are doing a cleansing. I always recommend to do a protection after, because if you're just cleansing and you're not doing much protection work, we're missing something. So the first one that I've got here is an aura armor. Now, as far as protection, you can do, like, you can wear an amulet, you can wear, I have bracelets too in the shop. The candle, in my own opinion, okay, you can use it however you want. For me, I like to use this more as a protection of my space, right? So I will cleanse my space and I will light the protection candle whenever I am in the space. Obviously, we still live in the physical world. You don't want to let it burn when you're not around to watch that it's burning. They are technically 7-day candles, but because it's a soy candle, they will burn slower and last longer. Now, you can also set the intention that this protects your energy, right? I said we're doing the intention work is personal. So, for you, if you want to set the intention that this candle is going to protect your energy after you've cleansed it when you light it, and you just light it when it's around and it's protecting you, then that is the work that this candle is going to do. For me, like I said, I prefer to use it for this space in general. That's when I use this candle the most. I use it the most at Infinity or Avenue. We'll talk about altar setup, but for me, because I do spiritual work in this center, this whole place I would consider my altar. I do have a small altar at home. So we'll do something with that. We'll do some kind of altar 101 video. Maybe we'll do that next. I'm not really too sure. So you can keep this candle just in your space to protect your space. You can keep it close to you when you light it to protect your own energy. You can gift it to somebody who needs some energy protection, whatever. Like I said, it's the tool and the intention is yours. And the other candle I want to talk to you about today is Return to Sender, Delivery Refused. This is not really a protection candle, but hear me out. This is one of my favorite candles, right? If you know somebody is sending you bad energy and you don't necessarily just want to protect it protect yourself from it, right? You deserve this. And why do I have to have that energy? Why are you sending me? Actually, this should be for you. I refuse this nasty ass energy that you're sending me. And I want you to have it, actually. That's what this candle is. So it is a protection candle in some form, which is why I want to talk about it today, but it is more of like, no, no, no. You don't get to send me that kind of nasty energy. As a matter of fact, why don't you deal with it? And then you let me know how that works out for you. Actually, don't let me know how that works out for you. I don't really care. But if that's the intention that you want to set, sometimes I do want them to know that it came from me. But this is not really it's not like a hex. I wouldn't consider it energy that came from me. This is like, halt. Who goes there? No, no, no. Goodbye. Take it back. I don't want it. And that's the difference really between these two candles, right? This candle can kind of go anywhere. And this is a little bit more of deeper energy work. We will get more into some of the other deeper energy work that I offer here for you guys to do for yourself. But something like this, I would put on my altar. And we will talk about altar setup. That's probably going to have to be next. But as for right now, that's all I have for you guys. I hope that answered some of your questions as far as how to cleanse your energy, what your options are. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. Follow, subscribe. Actually, we're only on YouTube right now, right? So like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to join me on another platform, I am on Instagram, Infinity Aura Av. I am on TikTok, Infinity Aura Av. Those are my business pages. If you want to follow my everyday normal Sammy shenanigans, I'm Sammy Doing Stuff on Instagram and TikTok. I do have Sammy Doing Stuff on YouTube. I was vlogging for a little while. We are going to bring those vlogs back. I had a little bit of an issue with one vlog that is kind of still in the vault. I'll probably get that out sometime soon. That is neither here nor there. That's all I have for you today. I'm Sammy. This is Infinity Aura Av. Love you. Bye.